but it is 6:03. So where's John? So why don't we get started? We'll call the meeting to order, 6:03. I'm just going to read the notice. This open meeting of the Grafton Planning and Building Committee is being conducted remotely consistent with Governor Baker's executive order of March 12, 2020, due to the current state of emergency in the Commonwealth due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 virus. In order to mitigate the transmission of the COVID-19 virus, we have been advised and directed by the Commonwealth to suspend public gatherings, and as such, the governor's order suspends the requirement of the open meeting law to have all meetings in a public accessible physical location. Further, all members of public bodies are allowed and encouraged to participate remotely. The order, which you can find posted to the town's website, allows public bodies to meet entirely remotely so long as reasonable public access is afforded, so that the public can follow along with the deliberations of the meeting. For any response, please wait until I yield the floor to you and state your name before speaking. And if members wish to engage in colloquy with other members, please do so through the chair, taking care to identify yourself. So when I'm going to do a roll call, and when I call your name, if you could just respond in the affirmative. Beth?
Here.
Julie?
Hi, or here, sorry.
That's fine. Doug? Just need to hear your voice. Prabhu?
Here.
Lisa?
Here.
John? So close. John, you're muted.
Sorry, I was trying to get signed in and I'm still not straight.
Okay, no problem. So you okay? Do you want us to continue?
Oh yeah, go ahead. I can hear you because I had you muted and me muted. Now
Okay.
I've got to figure out how to get the camera going. You guys just keep moving along and I'll jump in however I can figure it out.
Okay, all righty. So we're gonna start off with the minutes that Lisa sent out. Does anybody have anything with those? Or do we want to approve them?
I have something on the April 26th minutes.
Okay,
1B. I'd like to have that deleted. It says Doug
Can
Bowen
you-
mentioned at the last meeting that $225,000 outside funding has been secured, which offsets this IT expense. Because some of the funds that are getting moved over have specific requirements, and IT expenses is not one of them. So if we can just strike that, I mean, the money is going to still be available to offset other project costs, but just the fact that it says that.
If I remember correctly, that was a big reason many of us voted yes. So how could we word that? I wouldn't have voted yes had we not known that. I don't know if that's a big deal for everybody else, keeping it in the minutes.
Well, if you want to reduce that to, so it's only the trust money that's coming from the library trustees that has those restrictions. The monies from the capital campaign do not. So if you want to just say that there's outside funding to offset the expense without listing a number, or change that number to, I guess, 100K. I mean, either way, it's going to cover that difference. Right, there's 125K that's getting moved from the library trustee accounts. And that money has some restrictions on where it can be spent, but all the monies from the capital campaign are open or unrestricted for the most part. So I don't know if there's a dollar amount that you want to put on that.
so can we just say for monies from the capital campaign? Outside funding from the capital campaign fund?
What about just that there's outside funding which offsets this expense?
Yeah, as long as we have the money that's from that, one of those places, I'm okay with that.
Because
How
the
about
IT
everybody
budget
else?
was over like 70K over budget, is that right? So I mean, certainly 70K is going to be provided. that all right, Lisa?
Yeah, I think I'd like to be as transparent as possible with the funds, right? Like that we have. It's always been my perception that there's always been this extra money from the friends, but we've never really, it's been kind of like a moving target. So I can leave the minutes as is. I like the way you want it changed. I just already updated it and took the dollar amount out, but it always feels like it's all this big secret. And maybe there's a reason for it.
But there's no secret really. It's just time to get stuff approved. So it's jumping the gun, but we've got the 125K from the trustees was approved last week. So that's getting moved any minute, any day. And then there's been 100K that's getting approved from the capital campaign this week. So that's where that 225 number came from. But there's a lot of other monies in the capital campaign that will eventually get moved, but nothing's been approved yet.
All right, so I changed it to Doug Bowman mentioned at the last meeting that there is outside funding that has been secured, which offsets this IT expense.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, Lisa, I hear you, and I think it'll be appropriate when things have been approved. I think that's part of Doug's point, is that we're sort of saying something has happened before it's actually happened, even though it's going to. So I think once things have been approved, then it's fair to include that in the public minutes so that people can see what's coming and where it's going.
Yeah, I think even tonight in our minutes, it might be helpful to, and I was going to bring this up, to list what came from the friends and for what purpose. And I think it's good PR for the friends, but it's also very good PR for everyone to know just what's going on with that funds. I keep hearing, like we've been for 2 years hearing about all this money they're going to give, and I still feel like it's a moving target, but I totally get that there's a voting process and all that.
Okay, so Doreen just said she's not going to be able to make it. So, so do we want to? Are you going to resubmit those and we just not vote on these, Lisa, or do we want to just vote on the?
It's a Google Doc. I haven't submitted it to anyone but you guys, so we can vote on. If everybody looks, you can see the changes were just made.
Yeah, you can just approve as amended. Oh, sorry, Beth.
Yeah, so I would like to make a motion to approve the April 5th and April 26th minutes with the April 26th minutes as amended, as we just discussed and as have been edited. Can I get a
Perfect.
second?
Okay. Yep. Second.
Can we vote on them separate just because I wasn't here for the second meeting?
Of
Yes,
course.
because I was only here for one.
All right, then I will make a motion to approve April 26th as amended.
Second.
Okay. So by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Abstain.
abstained. Doug,
Abstain. I wasn't here.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Abstain.
Mary, aye. So we have 4 ayes. 4. And we have
We need 5.
Well, it just has to be a majority of who was there, right? Or is it of the
Yeah.
total?
So I thought it was for the 26th that you wanted to change. So you weren't there though. Okay, well. Okay.
Well, the only reason
who
I
wasn't
wanted
there?
to change it was because my name was mentioned
From the 5th, got it. Okay.
from the last meeting. Yeah.
So we're gonna have to hold off on that.
I think we can.
Just hold off. You just need to have a majority of the people that were there, right?
No, you have to have a majority of your committee. I mean, there should have been a quorum at the meeting.
There was.
But we have 2 people absent tonight, so.
So you can't,
There it is.
and I don't know why we can't vote on minutes. I mean, I don't think, I think it is okay for us to vote on minutes even if we weren't there. I'm not 100% sure.
I think it is too, but
Because I don't have a problem with voting. I just am saying because everybody else did, because we weren't there.
I'll
You do, even if I'm not there, I do vote, but I do watch the video in case that helps. The recording.
Mhm. I don't, honestly don't know the ruling on that, so,
I could
If-
find out just to be sure.
I think the ruling is if you're not there, but you watch the video, you're good. But technically, you shouldn't vote if you haven't been there or haven't seen it.
okay. Well, so I think we're gonna have to table that one. And we'll go back to the, April 5th.
I make a motion to accept the minutes for April 5th.
Second, Beth.
Okay, by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Mary. Aye. Okay, that passed.
I'll watch the video for next time.
According to Robert's Rules of Order, yes, you can vote to approve minutes of a meeting if you are absent, because when you vote to approve the minutes, you're expressing your confidence in the veracity of the secretary, the actions of your colleagues, and the correctness of the minutes preparation process. You're not making a personal eyewitness statement that, quote, you were there.
Okay, then I make a
Let's-
motion to approve the meeting minutes from April
Second.
26th.
Second.
Second.
Okay,
Yeah, we'll all
Let's-
do.
well, let's do it again. Beth,
Yeah, Lisa, what are your minutes for this meeting going to look like? Just on this vote.
I'm gonna badmouth all of you now.
A discussion was had around minutes.
Yeah.
Aye, for the second time, aye, I approve.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Mary. Aye. All right, let's move on. All right, Andy, the bills.
Unmute first, that's always helpful.
Mhm.
So I sent out an email that had a list of the invoices. Happy to talk about any of these. I'll go through them in order. So CDW for $27,702.14. This is part of what we talked about last week for IT infrastructure. So we got, these are actually a total of 4 invoices together that total this amount.
I make a motion that we pay CDW in the amount of $27,702.14.
Second.
Second.
Okay, by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Mary. Aye. Declare it passed.
Great. Next one up is Colliers. They are our commissioning agent. This is just one of their monthly bills. This is for $692.04.
Oh, I make a motion that we pay Colliers $692.04 for April 2021.
Second.
By roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Mary. Aye. Declare it passed. Next.
Next up is Comtract. They are the town's fiber contractor, fiber provider. So this was $6,220.30 to reconnect the fiber line from the town fiber network to the library. It's actually a little bit more than reconnecting it because they had to bring it to a different pole, bring it into the building. They have a piece of their own equipment that's sitting in a rack in the MDF. So, but this was the work that they did, which matched their proposal that they gave to me ahead of time.
I make a motion that we pay Comtrack in the amount of $6,220.30.
Second,
Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Mary, I declare it passed.
Great. Next up is DA Sullivan, ROPM, for $6,750, their monthly invoice for March.
Is it for March or April?
It's March.
It's
March.
March.
Okay. And
Yeah.
why, it was just slightly a little bit more than it's been in the past.
I think it's less. I'm trying to stretch it out to time it for the end of the where the contract seems to be headed. So similar to the discussions with DRA, I've been massaging the monthly bill just to kind of stretch it out for the contract duration.
I apologize. Yeah, you're right. It was $7,400 last month. Okay.
Yep.
I make a motion to pay DA Sullivan $6,750 even.
Second,
Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Mary, I declare it passed.
Good. Next up is DRA, our design team. So this is their regular invoice for $8,423.16.
So this is the one that was a little bit higher. I apologize. Can we talk a little bit about that? Not much, but
We
it's still
can.
higher.
Yep, we can. Mark, do you want to do this one or you want me to intro it?
As far as well, we got Ken and Ron here. You guys, Ron, can you, or whoever wants to take the lead on this, you had been doing the same thing, I think, with your monthly invoices, kind of stretching it out and letting it grow or subside. And I believe this is a consequence of that, but I don't know who wants to take that.
Yeah. Basically, that's, I've been trying to keep the amount the same month to month to stretch it out. I'm surprised that this one, I mean, I can double check, but I'm surprised that this one's higher than the last one. It should have been the same as the last month.
Last month was $5,580.
That doesn't sound right. I'm not saying it wasn't billed out that. I'd have to check with our business office, because we're usually in the area of 8,000, if I'm not mistaken, on a monthly basis.
Mhm.
But we've been, I mean, let me see if I can, while we're talking, I can look at my past billings and see if I can find a difference.
And so just to follow, this is related, of course, because it's design fees, but so related to this, Mark and I and Ron and Ken had a discussion last week about their additional services as well. We had gotten direction from the committee last time for the not to exceed number, but then you go back and have a chat about what that meant. And so we did. These guys went back and dug into it a bit, looked at what their costs are, what the timeline was, what all that stuff, how much time had elapsed, and how much time was left, and how much effort, and who was doing what. And so we did come to an agreement that instead of what had been proposed, it was, which was, I don't remember the exact amount. You guys remember? It was 96,000 something, I think.
Yeah.
Hold on one second. I have that.
It came down to 89,800. So, and that's we really kind of knocked that around a bit between the 4 or 5 of us, and came up with what I think is, it's the legit, costs for additional services for the project.
All
So
right.
that's not reflected in this invoice, by the way. That's additional services that we haven't seen invoiced yet.
And just to follow up on that, so what we asked Ron and Ken to do is to approach their additional services along the same lines as what had already been approved by the committee for both Andy and CTA, where the formal contract extension was basically, generalized, from January to June, so it was a 6-month extension. And so what happened prior to that, DRA didn't look toward those other months, even though technically, contractually, there were a couple months, November, December, that could have been contractually speaking additional services. But so they just took it from that same time frame to make it all the same, to make CTA's argument the same as Andy's argument, to make as DRA's argument. So 6 months times their regular rate, which was 19,000 something, ended up with that $97,000 number. They recognized that the same level of effort wasn't put forward for those 6 months, that it was somewhat reduced because some of their consultants weren't involved to the same extent month to month and so forth. So they revised that number. We had a couple Zoom calls going back and forth. They came up with this $89,000 figure, which both Andy and I think is fair.
So I make a motion that we pay DRA $8,423.16.
Second.
Vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Julie?
Aye.
Doug?
Aye.
Prabhu?
Aye.
Lisa?
Aye.
John?
No,
Okay, Mary? Aye. John, do you want to talk about it more?
no, I mean, I made
Okay.
myself pretty clear at the last meeting. I just feel like if this were a problem, they should have identified it a year ago, 6 months ago, 3 months ago, but not a month ago and say, oh, by the way, this, if everybody else had done it all along, why didn't they? That's,
Mhm.
it's one thing. I just don't get it. That's, if we owe the money, we have to pay it if they've worked, but I'm not happy and I'm not going to vote in favor of it because I don't think it was done properly.
Okay.
Well, just for the record, what you're voting on is our base contract fee. That's not what you're not voting on an ad service right now.
Right. Okay.
All right. Next one up is additional service was for landscaping. So this is a separate piece than the one we were just talking about. This is the additional services for the additional scope that we're doing for landscaping. So this is again for DRA. It's really for basically for their landscape architect and a little bit of their own time, but this is for $1,860.
I make a motion, we pay DRA $1,860 for landscaping.
Second.
Okay, vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Mary. Aye. Declare it passed.
All right. Home Depot, quick one. This was just for new ceiling fans in the existing buildings for $238.
In the building where no patrons are going in, is that correct?
This is in the existing 1927 building.
Oh, not the temporary library.
No.
Okay, so I make the motion to pay Home Depot $238 for ceiling fans.
Somebody want a second?
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Vote by roll call, Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Mary, aye. Okay,
Right.
declare it passed.
Thank you. Next up is Old Hickory Buildings. This is actually a local company in Worcester that makes sheds. So we're buying a shed that is going into the dumpster enclosure where we can keep things like snow blowers and garden implements. I did some homework and looked at a couple of local providers. These guys had a much shorter lead time and a slightly lower price than some of the other ones that I looked at. So this is for a 10 by 10 utility shed. Pretty straightforward little thing. It's got the doors where we want them, and it's 6 to 7 weeks out. So this one is for $3,175.
I make,
Andy,
oh, sorry.
where is it going to be located?
So there's a dumpster enclosure in the parking lot as you go back on the right-hand side.
Okay. So I guess the bigger question is this going to be visible from a public way?
No.
So that enclosure, because again, I'm just trying to jump ahead of if they say, oh, you didn't tell us, as long as it's enclosed enough fence and you can't see it.
It's enclosed.
Because there was a big issue of the shed at the donation shed at the Congo church, and that they didn't follow the rules, the whole 9 yards. So it's like, I know they're going to get their antenna up if another shed appears and they're like, we didn't know about it. So
No, you're not going to see it.
as long as they can't see it, then you're clear.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
And can I also ask, like, who does the lawn mowing? Like, isn't that done by the town? So, oh, you do it, Beth?
I do. Actually, I shovel sometimes.
Oh, okay.
So the building department and their custodians are deployed to do the walkways, but DPW does driveways, snow plowing, and then DPW Parks and Cemetery does the lawn cutting.
Okay.
And, yeah. So
But
we
wouldn't
have
they
a snow
have
blower.
their tractors and
Yeah.
everything?
We own a snowblower. It has been deployed to the building department, and I'm hoping that I'm getting it back so that our own custodial, when someday we have our own custodian, they will be doing the snowblowing on site.
I actually had it in the budget to buy a new snow blower.
Even better.
I
I'll use it because honestly, like we're the last on the list. And if we're to stay open, somebody on site needs to be snowblowing.
Right.
It will be
I
me.
think it sounds like a better idea to have one on site rather than have to wait for one to be to show up. And I have also heard that the one that is yours, you might be better off getting a new one.
Okay.
Other duties is assigned.
Okay. All right. Somebody want to make a motion?
I make a motion to pay Old Hickory Buildings $3,175 for the shed.
Second.
Question. I'll second it. And going back to what Mary was talking about, is this even a necessity? We need a shed. The money is trivial in this. So it's a round off error, right? Is this even necessary for the? Go ahead. Ben.
Yeah, we have rakes, we have shovels, we have things that we need to store that there's no storage space in this new building for that kind of stuff. There just isn't. So it needs to be outside in a shed.
Okay.
All the seasonal gardening stuff. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? We're going to vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Mary, aye. Declare it passed.
All right. Next one is for UTS. They are our independent testing agency. This is they've done a lot of other things. This is one of the ones they did to come in and test fire stopping. This is for $680.
I make a motion, we pay UTS $680.
Second,
Okay, vote, any questions? Vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
I,
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Mary, I declare it passed.
All right, that's it for the, for your traditional invoices. We're gonna talk change orders and requisition next. All right. So change order number 19, I sent out a summary sheet that sort of describes what some of these are. Again, these, as always, have been batted around back and forth between the design team and Mark and myself. There are some on here. They are already included in the cost report. I typically show the, I think I've said before, the worst case scenario generally that shows up in the cost report. So in other words, there are some PCOs that show up in the cost report this month that have not been approved yet, but I'm already sort of showing the cost in there just so we can see where we're headed. Or where we may be headed. Sometimes those go up and sometimes they go down and sometimes they go away. But it's always best, at least from my point of view, to show sort of what the next round of things looks like. So these are all already in the cost report. So going through these, PCO number 70, these all are under change order number 19. PCO 70 is some changes. There was a design changes from PR3A that affected some of the millwork in some of the rooms and also changed some of the door frames. That PR3A came out quite a while ago. It was changed to some of the construction documents, and it just took quite a while to sort of filter through and finally come out in some of these costs. So that's what number 70 is. Number 71, we had a couple of fire extinguishers that were just hanging on brackets on the wall. And we decided to put them into cabinets instead, just so nobody hits them. And it's just a sort of a safety thing. You know, I'm not sure why they were just on brackets to begin with. Sometimes they just are. It's simpler, cheaper, but we decided it would be better to put these in cabinets and keep them out of harm's way. Number 73 is some additional ceiling work, some trim that was needed. We had some low spot in a room where so we had to change the ceiling height. And when you do that, you've got to provide some trim to close that up. PCO 74 was some additional piping, some HVAC condensate work that was a result of sort of Q&A between the subcontractor and the GC and the design team. So some of that had changed. It basically, somebody asked a question and the design had to change a little bit in order to make that, to answer that question. Number 76 is to demolish the concrete sidewalk in front of the existing building and prepare that for a future brick patio. So this whole thing is going to be funded by donor money, but since we're with the site contractor on site with people, with equipment, it just made sense to pull the trigger on this one now. It was just it was much more efficient to be able to have them just come and do that while they're right there and had something to do. So that's why this one's in there.
So will there be any kind of finished surface between the steps and the street sidewalk? How much is going to be demoed?
So the sidewalk itself that follows the curve of the street is going to remain. But the curved sidewalk and the sidewalk that went straight up the middle towards the front door, front steps, all comes out.
So until that really won't be a usable entrance until that work is finished.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Can you remind us what was in the original project for that? Was it just going to be supposedly remaining the way it was existing?
Yeah, there was going to be some patching that was going to have to happen because of some of the utility work that happened in the front of the building. There was going to be some of that concrete sidewalk that was going to be removed anyways. And that amount was already deducted from this cost, so we wouldn't be paying for it twice. But yeah, it was not the intent of the project to remove that whole thing originally. There was just going to be some partial removal to do, like the water main that came in there, that was necessary. And there was some of the other under drain stuff that needed to happen. That was part of the cost as well.
Is there already a design, then you've already seen a design for the new walk? Like that's already been done through donors, or I just haven't.
It's
A schematic design has been developed and the landscape architect is working on the final design so that we
Okay.
can get some hard numbers and line up subcontractors.
Right.
Okay,
It's mostly the same geometry. I mean, it's the curved walk and the straight up the middle kind of thing. There's a little bit of a tweak to it, but yeah, there's already like Mark said, there's a schematic design for it already.
okay.
Okay. Number 77 is plaster repair in the existing building in the historic reading room. We did find that when we pulled the drapes down, that there was some plaster that needed to be repaired around a couple of the windows, and then there was also just a bunch of holes here and there from some other work that had been done or some work that had been taken out that needed to be patched. So we did this work got done on T&M, on time and materials, pretty efficiently actually, and so that's just a bit of plaster repair to restore the existing building.
Yeah, I should jump in. If anybody saw the kind of the before picture of the existing ceiling and walls before the finished painting that's happening now, it looked like this could have been a much bigger number, but the whole room was prepped by the painter, which meant they removed all the existing paint, and there were very, very few. You have to look hard to find kind of some rough spots where the plaster was a little irregular. This is where the plaster was actually damaged or dead and had to be replaced. But I think the existing space, it's beautiful. It looks really, really nice.
Yeah, the painting is nearly complete in the existing building. It really does look awesome.
Mhm.
And then last one, number 79, is some of the audio visual equipment that had been specified. This is a pretty normal thing. It had been specified that those model numbers were discontinued. So this is just to purchase the new model numbers, the new models, the new versions of those. And they're just slightly more expensive than the ones that were older are. So that's all number 79 is. So the grand total of all those things together is $41,185.43.
I make a motion to approve change order number 19 in the amount of $41,185.43.
Somebody want a second?
Second.
Great. Vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Mary. Aye.
All
Mary
right.
passed.
Awesome. And then the last one I have for you is CTA's requisition number 18 for the amount of $740,887.01. And again, that does include change order number 19 that you just approved. So that's not on top of this, that includes this.
I make a motion to approve the CTA rec number 18 in the amount of $740,887.01.
Second.
Okay, vote. Anybody have any questions on it? Vote
This
by
is-
roll call. Oh,
Sorry,
go
this
ahead.
is just their standard, like nothing else except for that change order, right?
Yeah, it's just right. The regular monthly requisition. Again, we comb through to make sure that the percentage complete for all the different subcontractors is appropriate. If they said that there's some materials on site, we verify that they are on site, all that kind of stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, it looked like quite a bit was at 100%. So,
It's that time.
yeah, good. All right.
Yeah,
Vote by roll.
Sorry,
Oh,
can
go
I
ahead,
interrupt you?
Pablo.
Can you clarify where is this document in the email? Andy, Which one are you referring to for the CTE?
The requisition,
Yeah,
it was
the
probably
one that we are
the
voting on.
last-
18 Grafton, April rec.
Yeah, it was the last attachment.
Thank you.
Do you want to look through it, Prabhu, or are you good?
We are not approving any additional funding on this. I'm good. I'm looking at it right now. I'm good with it. Thank you.
Okay. Beth,
Aye.
Julie,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu,
Aye.
Lisa,
Aye.
John,
I,
Mary, aye. Okay, declare it passed.
All right.
I have a silly question.
Yeah,
Do we, maybe not silly. Do we hold back, right, some percentage like for a punch list, like typical? Is that what that 5% represents in that chart?
Exactly, yeah, and typically, so the 5% retainage from the very first billing has been withheld on every bill. So for every $100 billed, we only pay 95. And then once the project reaches substantial completion, which is generally when you can occupy the building, there'll be a retainage reduction, a lot of times from 5 to 2.5%. And then from there, there'll be a monetized punch list. And they will put a dollar value next to every item of work that wasn't done correctly or Ken or Ron aren't satisfied with. And then we'll end up with that until completion.
Okay, thanks. I'm sure you've explained that multiple times throughout the year.
Julie?
I just want to sign off. I gotta go take my daughter now for her jab. So,
All right,
Beth, I don't think you have enough people to vote on the meeting minutes. I'd reviewed all of them and made any corrections if I needed to anyways. I don't think I had to. And my vote is for the single logo with bars on the glass. So, all right, see you all. Thanks.
you.
Bye, Julie, thank you.
I was
Okay,
gonna-
we're
I was
clerk.
just dive into the
Yeah.
cost report, which I sometimes probably, I'm sure you would agree. Sometimes I feel like we should do this first and then do bills, but we'll do it this way again tonight. So I tried, for your viewing pleasure, I tried to make this easier and just highlight a few things that are different from the last one. So you can see in yellow, I updated, again, the additional services for the design team. I've got PCOs, again, listed all the ones that made up the change order. That came in late, so I didn't get to tweak this and identify which ones are in the change order, which ones aren't, but they're all in there. There's a slight update to the furniture cost. We had updated pricing between the last cost report and this one, so I updated that slightly. I think we're still owed another update, Ron, if I'm not correct.
Yes, I've been trying to get in touch with Corey to get that from her.
Okay.
She acknowledged that she was working on it and getting it to us, but that was like beginning of last week.
Right. Okay. And then the last thing I had in here was just that update to our discussion of last week. So kicking up that the IT projected cost to be $153,000. And then if you flip to the last page, you can see what that all means, right? So we've got we've got some increased in IT and furniture on the owner side of things. Oh, I didn't highlight the updated additional services for engineering, so I'll have to go back and do that. And then I broke out outside funding between Board of Trustees and capital campaign, so we could see the difference between those two streams. And then you can see the current difference between what we are spending and what we have available to us. And I will continue to, again, just keep this updated as things, as money in and money out come through. We'll just keep this up to date. My regular clerk's report, if anybody's been going by and has seen what's going on out there, you can see the site contractor has been back on site. They're actually almost done with the work that they had in front of them. So A lot of the planting beds adjacent to the building have been built. Sidewalks and patios have been prepped. The patios themselves on the children's one and the one outside the community room, those actually have the pavers installed, and they are currently working on the sidewalk pavers between those two patios. The remainder of the granite curbs have been installed. Today, they actually were working on the detention pond slopes that let go over the winter and repaired those. So that's a lot of site work has been going on so that people can see, and that'll start to come around to the new front of the building pretty shortly when they start to make some more progress with the pavers, the patio pavers. We'll also see concrete sidewalks going in before too long. In terms of the rest of the building, again, this paint has been going on. There's been a painter in the existing building for quite some time now who's been, you know, as Mark said, he had a lot of prep to do, and now the finished painting is really very, very close to being done in there. It looks beautiful. There's still some final paint that has to happen on the first floor. There is the mill workers, the guys installing cabinetry and wood trim are down on the first floor now. They're mostly done on the second floor. There's still some painting that has to happen on the second floor, but not a lot. That's mostly done. The millwork is mostly complete. We've got countertops that still have to come in. Ceiling tiles are substantially complete on the second floor. If you haven't been up there, you know, it looks like a finished space on the second floor where the main stacks are. There's carpet on the floor, there's ceiling tiles and lights on. It really starting to look like a real finished space. The ceramic wall tile and floor tile in the toilet rooms is complete. We're working on floor tile right now in the main lobby. They ran out of material and did not work all day today, but it sounds like they're supposed to be back tomorrow to continue. The main stairs have received tile and are looking good. It still needs to be grouted and finished, but that's made a big difference in terms of what that looks like as well. VCT is in. Resilient flooring has not yet started. That's looking like maybe towards the end of this week or maybe the beginning of next week. Carpet on the second floor is mostly done. We've got carpet probably starting on the first floor later this week again, especially the children's and the teen areas, you know, don't have ceilings. So they're really pretty much ready for carpet now. The general contractor and subs need to move some things out of the way. Some of their staged materials, there shouldn't really be too many materials staged in there anymore at all anyways, because everything that should be in the building should be mostly installed. So part of this is just getting them to move some of their stuff out of the way. The elevator installation is basically complete. We've got a ceiling to put in at the very top of that elevator shaft, but the elevator has been completed. It works, although we're not allowed to use it. The elevator is complete. We did have a good decision reached about a louver not being required in the elevator shaft. Traditionally, I think people have seen that is something that happens, but the code changed. We did have a discussion at the state level and at the local level about that change in requirement. And so we did not have to put a louver in, which was.
What's a louver?
It's just a vent, John, so that when the elevator goes up and down, the air can be released out of that. It's generally been found that it's not really necessary. There's enough between the doors that open and close we're at every level. There's enough gap in there for air to move around as it needs to. Waterproofing, again, we're waiting for the exterior roof on the east side to get done. We've got the cornices out there. There's the detail that has been sort of kicked around back and forth between the design team and the construction team quite a bit. I think we're finally at the point where that work can start. But the cornices have to get done first before the roof shingles can get put on. So we're looking forward to that work finally getting done. So that's sort of the last major piece of exterior work that needs to happen. I think people have seen over the new main entrance, the PVC trim and the railings over that have been installed. They still need to be painted, but that looks pretty amazing. and as do the copper gutters and downspouts on the north side of the building. I think those look really great. They still need to be connected to the drains below, but those are looking good already. Plumbing, we've got 3 plumbers in the building today installing toilet room fixtures, so those are coming right along. Similarly, on the electrical side, light fixtures have been hung. There's still some more to go. Their lights are being turned on. It really changes the space. It looks amazing. So it's pretty fun to see some of that stuff happen. And in the meantime, other things like thermostats and exit lights and emergency lighting and all that kind of stuff has been going in and getting tested and turned on as well. So a lot of work going on with all the sort of the finished components of these different trades. HVAC, we had some startup of some of the equipment. We had our commissioning agent was out to check some of that work, and some of that work is ongoing still. Same thing with fire alarm devices. So there's been a lot of, it's just we're getting to that point where it's basically all finished work, but it's really kind of coming together pretty nicely. Just in terms of schedule, our substantial completion date is still the beginning of June. However, the movers have told us that they are fully booked for June, but can commit to July 12th as the move start date. They're actually going to come out later on this week. They'd like to come by, I think they said on Wednesday, to the interim library. So I was going to talk to you about just figuring that out and finding out when somebody could be there, and just they want to come out and just kind of re-identify what needs to be moved, and then probably come over to the new building as well. So they're on board. They're tracking us, and they're making sure that everything's gonna go smoothly on the move back in.
Andy, if I can jump in there for a second on the shelving? If you remember, before the project started, the shelving that's in the temporary library came from Woburn, and because they were doing their renovations, they ended up with additional shelving that was lent to Grafton. So now you're in the same position they were in a few years ago. So if you haven't already, to get the word out through MBLC, they know who's in need of shelving, and you can make, unless there's already a predetermined need locally for it. Otherwise, you're going to end up with an empty building, but a lot of shelving. And so it's the easiest thing is to find somebody who needs it, because I'm sure they're out there somewhere.
Yep, that's a really good point, Mark. I wanted to talk tomorrow a little bit about exit strategy for the interim library, and that was one of the items that we need to talk about for sure. Yep.
Can I interrupt for a quick second?
Sure.
I have to drop off at 7. Is there a voting? Is there any pending vote or anything that's still left, or is it just the update and the numbers towards the end? Any questions around that?
No, there is not. I don't believe.
Okay. Yeah, no, I don't have anything else. Okay, so.
Oh, Beth, you have a question?
Yeah, I had a question about the retention pond. You said that there was repair that had to happen because of something that happened over the winter.
Yep.
So I just wanted to ask, is that like something that's going to happen every year that we're going to need to repair, rebuild it, or okay?
No, it got a bunch of harsh weather on it before the grass had a chance to root and hold everything together. So yeah, that was just we got the grass seed on that a little too late.
Okay, thanks for clarifying.
So that is schedule. So again, substantial completion, we're still looking good. The move is going to be further out, but we still have, lead flush out and some other things like that that are going to need to happen. So as we get a date for shelving, or a strong date for that, as we get a date for other furniture, we'll add this in. But I think we're going to be in good shape. And then Beth, again, just in terms of, what's a soft opening look like, and when's a full opening, and when's a grand, all that stuff is still TBD. Safety, really nothing to talk about much there. Quality, CTA's had a work to complete. It's sort of a pre-punch list that they've been working with they've been generating themselves. It's been pretty lengthy. They do spend a fair amount of time going through the building themselves, looking for things that that need to be either finished or corrected, and working directly with the subs so that hopefully the punch list is not too lengthy. So I know that CTA has been doing a good job of keeping up with a lot of that stuff. The design team did do the above ceiling review on the second floor before the ceiling tiles all went in, so that was good. And I think, you know, again, the team, this has been a good team in terms of being able to, you know, identify things, resolve issues that have come up recently. We've had, you know, just sort of the normal slate of things that come up, whether it's, you know, the carpet in the reading rooms, the carpet tiles came in and they were a little different than what we had thought they were going to be, but we're worked through that. We've had millwork that, you know, there's some conflicts here and there, the kind of the usual stuff. So, and even just a couple of minor site work things. It's just been all normal stuff that comes up. Team's been good to you know, get on phone calls or to shoot sketches around and figure things out and keep everything moving. So that's all been good on the quality side of things. Go ahead.
Can you remind me what the monthly rent is at St. Andrews?
$6,000.
Thank you.
So are there, back to the movers, is there any option for like considering other move? Because that's going to cost us $3,000 right there, just for that extra half month.
We signed a contract with them to move us out and move us back. So we already have a contract.
Okay.
Yeah. And then on just under FF&E, again, some of the stuff we've already seen costs for, but we've got furniture and shelving underway. We've got appliances. I've got a PO. I'm ready to write for appliances. I'm just trying to get final costs on that. So we'll see that shortly. The utility shed you saw, IT equipment we talked about last week and tonight, and the RFID stuff. The panels are actually already on site, and we'll see some more of that stuff coming in before too long. I'm sure, Beth, it'll be a surprise.
And
comes along.
And you said you don't have any delivery date for either the furniture or the shelving?
So the shelving is shipping around June 8th. So we're expecting it early the following week, which is, I think, the 14th or something like that. So we know about when the shelving's coming, and it's supposed to take about 2 weeks to install. So, you know, the shelving will be in and installed well ahead of our move date, which is pretty important because we can't move until the shelving is in.
And then the furniture, you still don't have it. They haven't said when that will be.
We do not.
Sorry, I just had to unmute my microphone. As part of what I was in talk about tonight, I have not received confirmation ship dates for the loose furniture, for the rest of the furniture. That does not mean there's a problem. When I talked to Corey, she did say that she's comfortable with the lead times on it. She didn't foresee any problems when I talked to her. But as the orders went in, sometimes it takes time for the manufacturers to get back to her with actual ship dates. So we are keeping on top of it and checking with her on a regular basis.
Great. Good. And then under the category of other, as I wrote in here, the landscape additional scope is moving a little slowly on the design side of things. We have a brief window in the spring to plant already. And so the concern is there that, you know, if it's going to take too long to get final designs out here that we can get built, it may make sense to split some of this stuff out from the construction project proper, like we had already talked about doing with the stone walls. Again, if we're funding this differently, we can potentially if we're not doing it with CTA, through CTA with union labor, we can potentially use somebody local. We can potentially save some money and have some local resources do some of this stuff instead. So there may be a benefit to it. It's just, you know, we're just gonna have to manage it instead of having it get managed through CTA. So we need to work on this a little bit more. Things like the green roof, which are kind of a plug and play item. I'm talking with that green roof installer tomorrow directly instead of waiting to go through the whole process. I just want to talk to them a little bit more about some of the questions that we have outstanding. While Berkshire Design Group is busy, I want to just try to knock off some of these things if we can. The HDC, so we do have, we've got the site sign, the same 3 items. So the site sign that we need to come up with an alternate color scheme. The roof screen, they're looking for a couple of options, and the exterior light fixtures are a reluctant go at this point. So I'm not sure when those are going to get installed, but pretty soon, I think in the next couple of weeks, the electrician's going to be moving to the outside of the building and doing some of those fixtures. So we'll see what that looks like. And then I think my last item is what I already talked about a little bit, is just the interim library. I've given the electrician that's done a bunch of that work, DMH, I've already talked to them and told them I'd like to walk through the building with them and see what we have to undo. And then just kind of take a general look around and see what else we have to do. I mean, the shelving is obviously a big one, but just see what other stuff, how big of a dumpster do we need, basically. So we'll put together a more detailed plan about what needs to happen there, and just get ourselves ready. Because if we're going to start moving July 12th, I'd like to be out of there by the end of July, so that we don't have August rent. Right. But I think it's definitely doable. And that's it for me.
Mark, did he steal all your thunder? Do you have anything to add?
Pretty much, that's usually the case, but no, I'll just say briefly, as you alluded to, Mary, in the pay app, you see a lot of items billed at 100%. And Ken and Ron are coming the week of the 10th, which is next week, to punch list the second floor. So that's CTA is telling the designers we're done, on the second floor. And the first floor is lagging behind by a couple of weeks. But what Andy alluded to is really there are a lot of areas on the first floor that they could be putting flooring down now, but they're in their own way. A lot of equipment and stuff that's left over that they're not using, job boxes and so forth, they just need to now just get it out of the building. And so there's a kind of a logistical dance that they have to go through. But the site, there's not a lot of ceiling work on the first floor. There's a lot of open spaces. So once things like the flooring go, they go quickly. And he's mentioned the toilet fixtures are going in, and once those go in, then the toilet partitions go in, and then once those go in, the toilet accessories go in. So everything's in a nice little flow. Mechanical equipment's been started up, so that's running. So they get it operational. The commissioning process has started. Then they shut it down because if there's still dust in the site being generated and so forth, we don't want that. But if you're starting up equipment and doing checklists and commissioning and punch lists, then we're at the end of this thing. And so shortly, I would expect, mid to late month, they turn on everything and just let it run, and we start flushing the building out, which the timing is such that the flush out is going to take a little longer than we had initially thought. And because of the timing with the furniture and the movers, ultimately, I think that's going to be beneficial for the flush out. So everything I think is going to work out pretty well. So yeah, we're very much on the home front.
Great. Okay. Ron or Ken, you guys have anything that you wanted to add?
No, I think we covered pretty much everything in terms of furniture and interiors and the rest of the architectural items. The one question I might have, and John, I don't know if you can address this for us with HDC. Are there any preferences for color options for the exterior sign that the HDC would like to see? Or are they looking for recommendations from us? Do they have any thoughts as to what
I think they didn't like one of the colors. I'm not real sure. I'm colorblind, so I just know what I like. So okay. I can't be it's this green or that. If you wanted to talk to Bill Nicholson, that would probably, if you want a real specific, or I don't know, Andy, if you were at that meeting, that have a better.
They didn't like the beige.
They didn't like the beige. Okay, we can work with that. You mean the beige the whole building is painted in?
Looks good on the building, though.
Okay. That helps. Okay, so we'll be working on that. I took photographs when I was on site last week from the front of the building at the sidewalk from across the street. And what I'm trying to do is mock up on those photographs what a screen of some sort would look like. So that we can run a few options past HDAC and the HDC, excuse me, and the building committee to get that reviewed before anything moves forward with it. The other thing is from the design subcommittee, I submitted some options for film on glass that we need in a few areas. And I've gotten some feedback. If I could share my screen. Is it okay to talk about this now, Beth?
John, can we add things to the agenda, or are there other items that come before the committee reasonably, legally? Yes, right?
Mhm.
I made you co-host, Ron.
Thank you. Can everyone see that screen?
Yes.
Great. So what I did was I took a photograph. This is from the general study room adjacent to and looking into the local history room. So we have these 3 glass panels that we're going to put film on. And you can see in the middle here, let me just change this out. I traced the outline of the graphic I was sent for the library's logo. And Beth, this is the one that we had talked about when we met. Or actually, I think you had sent me an email or mentioned it in conversation. So we have the logo outline silhouette in the middle panel, and then just a bar of film going to either side. This is roughly about 6 inches tall, and I'm setting it to align with the door hardware so that you have a nice transition across the wall. This can be, I've shown it translucent. It could be opaque. It could also be a series of thinner lines with a little bit of space in between each rather than a solid block. So that was the option that Beth had mentioned, and I played with that a little bit just to give some options. And in this one, I just took that center panel and copied it into the other 2 panels. I think it looks a little bit busy. I think it's a little bit much. And then in the last option, something more minimalist was just to have the silhouette in the center of each panel. Again, these were just presented as options to give people something to think about. I'm perfectly fine. Beth, a number of people expressed a preference for this one in some way, shape, or form. That's perfectly fine.
I prefer the last one with just a single image of the building in each one. And it's just going to be, it's not going to be red. It seems like there was a picture that had color in it. It's just going to be white or whatever color that is.
It's going to be that it almost looks like etched glass. There will be no color to it. And it can be opaque. As you can see in this version, they're opaque. I mean, you'll get light through it. It's not a solid, like if it were solid white. Okay. Oh, my battery is running down. Of course. So we can, regardless of the option you select, the committee selects, we can talk about the opacity of the film. That's not a deciding factor. But I put it to the committee to decide, which option you want to go with. If there's any modifications you'd like to see to any of the options, let me know, and I'd be happy to give you some more mock-ups. Any thoughts?
And the stripes that you mentioned, the stripes are just the same white stripe. If it just wouldn't be solid, it would be that it just looks too blocky like that to me. It doesn't look.
Yeah, did you consider, instead of that, the stripe being so thick, having it like really thin kind of along the bottom, so it almost looks like a horizon? Or is that just, it only goes up the building, like maybe, I don't know, a quarter of the way up the building instead of the full height of the building?
That's an option. We can do that. I agree that, see, here it doesn't bother me too much. It's here
It looks weird.
that it looks weird. So if it were to be maybe half the height, but we do need a certain amount of material there so that it's obvious and people don't walk into it.
Ron, even if it was the height of the roof and not the height of the cupola, I think that might be better.
I would love to see the cupola sticking up. And does it have to be a silhouette? Can we get the cutouts of the windows? Or is that like really hard to do? It's just like a cling, kind of a stick-on thing, right?
We can get the, I'm gonna make the assumption that yes, we can get the cutout of the windows. I don't have the ability to do that with my software.
Yeah, that's why I just mocked it up in Word in green.
Yeah, I mean, if I were to give this to the sign maker along with the file, your logo file that you sent and told them what to mock up. Oh, I didn't realize that was still alive.
It would just look a little bit more elegant if it was the actual cutouts with the windows and the cupola.
That's doable.
Mhm.
That's not a problem. That's weird.
I'm thinking if some think that's still too bulky, you could, right now that's at the top of the roof, you could bring it down just a little where the first roof transition happens, which is, a little bit, just to make it a little thinner.
Yeah, like down to roughly there.
Yep.
Yeah, that looks better already.
It's better, but I think it's still too thick. I like what Doug said, to kind of have it be like a horizon, a ground rather.
Okay.
Don't forget that part of the reason for this is so that it's visible, so that people don't walk into the glass. I don't think we want to minimize this so far that it's not doing its basic job that it's supposed to do.
Right.
Well, here's the two options side by side. Here, this would be roughly 3 inches. This would be closer to 4, maybe, about 4 inches. But you can see, and let me beef up the opacity on that just for the sake of being able to see.
Lost them.
It definitely went. That's indicative of a long meeting.
Well, Beth, is that something you're discussing in the subcommittee
Yeah,
meeting?
we have not scheduled another meeting, but we still have things to talk about. So yeah, we absolutely can do that to tweak it some more if we need to.
So
Okay.
without Ron, when do we need to meet again? The earliest this week would be Thursday, otherwise it'll be next week.
Probably next week.
What's best for you?
Tuesday. I think Tuesday. I think I have a friends meeting the 12th. So yeah, Monday or Tuesday.
So Monday or Tuesday at 6?
Yeah.
I think Julie had to drop off. Is Doug, you're still on?
Yep.
Is that okay for you? Next Tuesday at 6?
Should be.
Okay. So now it's just Ron.
Mark and oh, he's coming back.
I'm off. I mean, not off, but I have 2 other night meetings, both Monday and Tuesday. Then the rest of the week I'm open. So, but if you're, just I defer to the committee, or you don't need my vote anyway for these bans. The film and so forth.
Wednesday was your unavailable night. I'm sorry. So if we meet Wednesday, we just have to be done by 7:30 when my next meeting is. I can meet at
I
7.
can't see this meeting being a long one.
So about Doug, does Wednesday work?
Yep.
Andy, how about you? Andy, are you still on?
Yes, he said that's good for him.
No, I
Okay.
am on and it's not good. It's my wife's birthday.
So
Oh.
Wednesday's not. So it looks like it'll need to be Tuesday.
Ron, we're talking about subcommittee meeting dates. Are you available Tuesday? So you can.
Yes,
Oh, okay. Let's plan on that.
which tomorrow night?
No, next
No,
week. Next week.
Oh, next week. Yes, I'm available. And in the meantime, I can clean these up and send them out.
Thanks.
All right.
Thanks, Ron.
Okay,
So-
so why don't we do that? Do you guys have anything more on the architectural side, or are you? Okay, great.
So I'm
All
sorry,
right.
next Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Right.
Thank you.
John, do you have anything to share on the Historical District Commission?
I think Andy went over all the issues that we were working on. And Beth, am I using the same Zoom?
You can
As
use
before.
this one. You can just use the one that we used tonight, actually, I think, and it might say this meeting was scheduled for another date, but it'll still work. So
Okay.
go for it. Keep it to
Speaking of the Zoom, could you add Beth, Doreen's email address, because she's having trouble getting on.
yeah,
That's why she wasn't here tonight. I just read the email.
she declined the meeting in advance of the meeting. She declined like 2 days ago to attend. So she has it in her Google Calendar, but I can make it a note to send a personal invitation.
So you know what happened is I probably sent out an older Zoom meeting. When I sent it out this morning, it probably didn't
Yeah.
have her in there at the time. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying it did because she declined it. So she got it. I'll work with her.
Yeah. All right. No, I hear what you're saying, but I had sent one from a long time ago
Yeah,
Well, the
this
one I
morning.
sent
That
out-
was different than that. And I don't
I
know
sent
if it
one out
had.
last night
Yeah.
and
It's
I had to put
happening.
in a password, which I usually don't have to, but I had to put the link, I had to put in a password, but then it worked.
Okay.
So sometimes I don't have to put in a password, so I'm not real sure.
The trick is to log
know.
into Zoom first, then log into the meeting. And follow
Okay.
the direct link, and it should have the password included.
Okay. All right. And the interior design subcommittee, you guys are all set? Nothing to add right now, or?
No, we need to vote to accept minutes. We do have 3 of us here, but if we're gonna meet next Tuesday, we might as well just wait.
Okay.
And do it at our official meeting.
Okay. Public input, nobody else here. And our next meeting would be June 7th at 6 o'clock. Is that good with everyone?
we've been scheduling out two months, and the next one falls on the 4th of July, on July 5th, which is the day that we're observing 4th of July.
Sure. So we'll make it the week after that.
July 12th, okay. Is that okay, Andy and everybody else, that we go a month and a week?
Is it better?
Yeah, at that stage, after next month's meeting, we should be in full, flush out punch lists, substantial, we should be on the eve of or just past substantial completion. So there won't be a lot of decisions to be made at that July meeting, if any, other than just the normal bill processing and so forth.
Right. Yeah, in terms of invoicing or the requisition, as long as they know what to expect, we'll be fine.
Great. Okay. So if, does anybody have anything else they want to add to the meeting? I think we're good.
Move to adjourn.
Yep.
Good job, everybody. I make a motion to adjourn at 7:24.
Somebody want a second? Great.
Wait, who seconded? I'm sorry.
I did,
John.
John.
John, thank you.
Vote by roll call. Beth,
Aye.
Doug,
Aye.
Prabhu, he's gone. Lisa,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
and Mary. Aye. Thanks, everybody.